Okay, I just picked this engine up from auction. I wasn't originally going to buy anything, but the plan was to have this shipped about an hour away, but it was 5 pounds over the allotable amount for shipping. The engine weighs 105 pounds, roughly. This is a Honda 15 horse horizontal shaft, obviously single cylinder, with electric start, 1-inch crank engine. I have a plan for this. I have a pressure washer out back. It's kind of a homemade pressure washer with, I believe, a 13 horse Honda. This one's a 15. That one's only pull start. This one's electric start. You probably know where I'm getting at. I want to convert the one I have to electric start, but we'll swap the entire engine as long as this runs. This will either be a $300 mistake or a $300 win, but as long as it works, the electric start could be fitted onto my engine. This tank is a little bit nicer. Hopefully the carburetor and all that is good. The exhaust is also nicer on this one versus my engine, or my other engine I should say. So it would still be a win, but it won't be a good win. So, good win. This engine, I believe, came off with some sort of heater, judging by that tag right there. But it has a fairly large voltage regulator right here. Power wire, ground wire, main harness. It is a self-contained engine. Crank looks good. It does have bolts in here. It'd be nice if those were the size I need for something else I'm working on, since I won't need those for the pressure washer. Crank does not appear bent or anything like that. It turns over good. There's definitely compression. This would have a compression release, so it's not hard. There's no hard spots. So this was purchased sight unseen, basically as a mystery. I was willing to spend up to $200 to have this shipped. So all in, let's say $400. This came to $214-ish with fees. I paid $175 for the engine plus fees. When I found out they wouldn't ship it because it was slightly overweight, I ended up paying someone to bring me down to go and pick this up, since this was the only item we purchased from auction, or I purchased from auction this time. But I did have a win. The snow blowers I sent to auction were still there. I mentioned in a previous video I may have put the wrong carburetor with the snowblower. I did bring the correct carburetor and they did let me swap them out. So I told them I brought the correct one. I'm not taking anything away from something someone already bought. I'm just making it right and including the correct part. And the guy I spoke to is someone I know from the auction, and he let me swap them out. So that will be a whole nother video. We'll see if the carburetor is correct. Also, starting this will be a whole nother video as well. We'll use the electric start, just pull start an engine like this while holding a camera, or in my case a phone, definitely is not fun. So we'll rig up an electric start. There is fuel in that tank. I don't know how long this engine's been sitting. That may have also been another red flag to ship it, since it does have fuel in the tank. They may or may not have shipped it with fuel. So as far as I know, it's got oil. Hopefully it's not over full. It's got some. Actually, looks very clean, which is good. This was indoors at the auction, so it wasn't left outside or nothing like that, at least while the auction had it. So anyways, this will be a later on video, maybe later on today. We're set to get yet another snowstorm, so I would like to get this tested sooner rather than later. And I'd like to get the engine off the other stand sooner rather than later as well. Get this bolted on, because I'd like to bring that engine to auction in a little over 3 weeks, possibly. If they let me include it, I'll have to wait and see. But it needs a muffler. But other than that, it runs perfectly. So, and it being a Honda should actually bring giving me back what I have into this engine with fees. So fees and having to go and get it. So I'm hoping it's either a 15 or it's a 13 horse, but it is a real Honda. It's got a Chinesium carburetor, but it is still a real Honda. So, and I do believe this is a real Honda as well. Just judging by the color of the tank, the actual engine, the way the engine is, I do believe this is a real Honda. There's no other badges on it. That's just emissions, and there's a tag at the side. But I am just going to call this a Honda. And if it's not, I could care less. But the goal is to make sure this runs, make sure it doesn't smoke, let it run for a little bit. Set it on the snow, it'll be okay on snow. And we'll make sure that this engine is healthy. Then I can get the engine pulled off that other stand, get the muffler pulled off, order a new muffler on Amazon, and we'll go from there. So anyways, we'll have to wait and see if this is a $300 win or is this a $300 auction loss. So I'll talk to them later. Please keep it redneck like always, and please subscribe and comment. I'll add this here in at the end. This also came with this engine. It appears to be an extra carburetor, probably the original carburetor that was on here at some point. A couple gaskets, a couple different floats, a couple different bowls. So there's parts in there for 1 and a bit carburetors. I'm not sure what these here are. They almost look like timing belts. No, those are piston rings. Yeah, those are piston rings. I wonder if this engine was rebuilt. If this was rebuilt, that's actually definitely a win. I can't really tell if these are old or new. 1 minute. Okay, these appear to be old. There is some wear on the edges, but I cannot tell. So that could be a good sign. This engine is possibly rebuilt. They may have went through it. Let's take a look at the sump gasket. That does look new. Yeah, it does look like this has a new sump gasket on it. So possibly this engine has been rebuilt. That would actually be a good sign.